Hello, my name is Jessica, and this is a little bit about me and my coaching journey. So, I started out as a nurse in 2008. I worked a couple years in the ICU, and then I transitioned to the OR where I've worked ever since. And no business background whatsoever. I was brought up in a medical family. My mom was a nurse, my dad was a firefighter. So, it's kind of all I ever knew. And it was just the natural career path for me. I never imagined doing anything else. And then when I had my daughter in 2019, I remember just being so uncomfortable in my postpartum body, with the leftovers. I was so proud of what my body had done in growing and carrying a baby and, being able to sustain her with breastfeeding. I was so proud of that. But I was still super uncomfortable and I didn't feel like myself. I felt foreign in my own body and I was just really uncomfortable. And I was also overwhelmed with new motherhood. Any of you who are mothers know, that early postpartum period has so many emotional roller coasters and just the transition of, not only caring for myself in a different way, but now being fully in charge of this tiny little human. And I had no idea what I was doing. So that was just a confidence shatterer in itself. And I just needed something for me. I was really stuck in that day to day grind of diapers and breastfeeding and over and over and over again. And while I loved it and I adored being a mom, I needed something for me. And so that is what drew me to the fitness programs in the first place. And, I started a program. I was someone who had quit everything. I had quit every diet. I had quit every trainer, every gym membership. I remember paying for a gym membership for an entire year and I never even stepped foot inside the place to claim my little card. Like that's just craziness. So that was my past. And I really had no confidence in myself that I had even stick with it for 2 weeks, let alone past that. And here I am, three years later almost. Um, and so I started a program, and it was 20 minutes a day. It was something that I felt that's what I could fit in, and that was it. That was like the maximum time I could give. And about 2 weeks into that program, something shifted. And I was feeling so amazing. I didn't really have any physical results yet, but the mental and emotional shift that I was feeling, I just wanted to scream it from the rooftops. And I just had to share it with anybody and everybody. And if I could even help just one other mom feel better about herself, feel better in her skin and more confident, then that's all that mattered. And not too long after that, I was also, kind of coming to the end of my maternity leave. I took the full 12 weeks off and it wasn't enough. And I was never someone who thought, number one, that I would maybe even have kids, and number two, that I would ever want to stay home with them. But as that 12 weeks dwindled down, I just was panicking. And I was so scared of missing out on all those little moments of Audrey's life. And I just kept thinking about the fact that I was going to be going to work, taking care of other people's families, spending all my time with them, when all I wanted to do was take care of my family and not give a large portion of my paycheck to the babysitter. And I just remember when I did go back to work, those first few months of getting the texts and the videos from the babysitter and hearing her coo and laugh and giggle through the phone, it broke my heart. And I didn't want that for our life. So that's why I dove into coaching. I didn't know anything about it. I jumped into a little info group sharing similar information as we kind of are talking about now. And I learned a little more about it. And I had all the doubts and skepticisms in the world. Knowing myself as a former quitter and as someone who had barely even begun her own fitness journey, um, I doubted whether people would even pay attention to me or listen to me or want to join what I was doing. I was really concerned with what other people would think. Um, I had no business background. All I knew was medical and nursing and the hospital life. So I really had no frame of reference, and I knew nothing. I had social media, but it was pretty minimal. Family and friends. I would scroll through people's pictures, see what they were doing. I would share some pictures of what we were doing, and that was about the extent of it. And just that mindset of growing up of, you go to school, you get the degree, you get the job, and that's what you do for the rest of your life. So I had a very, safe job and a safe mind frame about that. And so anything beyond that was just out of my a realm of understanding. So this was completely new for me. But I learned. I dove into it. I leaned into the uncomfortable. I took all the messy action. I kind of got away from that fear of failure and the fear of looking silly or messing up or doing something wrong. And just me being very type A and practical and having that nurse brain, you do things the right way. And this journey is very much a learn as you go type of business. And so that was very unsettling for me, and I just had to learn to accept it. And I did learn to do that, and I learned to fail forward and to just try and go for things, and that it's okay if something isn't perfect. So that's probably one of the biggest things that I've learned. And now, almost 3 years later, this business has blessed us with so many things, so many experiences and opportunities. One of the things I love most is the flexibility. No matter what season of life we're in. I started this business as a new mom. And now, 3 years later, I have a 3-year-old toddler running around. I'm pregnant with our second. We're due in August. And my business has shifted and looked a little bit differently through all those seasons of life. And it will look different once again in a couple months, when I'm, a new mom all over again and learning how to transition from one to two children and all of the excitement that will come with that, as I'm sure. But I really also love the ability to dictate what my income is. And as a nurse, we rely on that 2%, hopefully 2% cost of living raise every year. And you go in, you do a good job, and you hope that you get that full 2%. But it's mostly based on how the hospital is doing as a business and whether they can afford to give everyone raises. And while it is a merit raise somewhat, and you do the best job you can, a lot of it is more based on how the hospital is doing as a business. And with this, there is no income raise cap. I determine how hard I work, and I determine what my income will look like. I can work when I want, and I don't work when I don't want. And how that looks is up to me. How hard I work, how much I work, what that work looks like, that is up to me. And that's very empowering. I also love the ability to take time off. I still work as a nurse, but it is very minimal. I work 1 to 2 days a week, and that's because I choose to. And I love that freedom. We're getting ready. We're leaving today actually on vacation for a whole week. And I did not have to submit a vacation or a PTO request form. I didn't have to worry about if someone else already had the days requested off in front of me, because it didn't matter, because I get to dictate my schedule, and I get to dictate what days I work my nursing job, and I get to work that around our life and our schedule. And the freedom in that is so fulfilling and so satisfying. And I just want to share that with everyone. So now, like I said, my business and life has looked different over these seasons. And when I started, I was full time in the OR, and now I work 1, maybe 2 days a week in the OR, and I'm home with Audrey the rest of the time. I'll never have to send this baby to daycare. And that is such a good feeling. The other amazing blessing that I have gotten from this business is, when my mom, she was dying from a terminal illness, and I was able to go part-time and drop my nursing hours and be home to take care of her. And we got a whole year of time, a time that we'll never have again. And I got to share Audrey with her for those years or those months. And that's something that would have never happened otherwise, and something so special that we will never get back. So hopefully you continue to learn a little more about all of us, a little more about the business, and ask any questions that you have. This is such a great opportunity, and I'm so happy to be sharing it with you.